Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Hope all is well. If you turn on the news, you'll see that for the past few years, a lot of things are going on in the world. The world is drastically changing. But rather than opening the news, open to the spiritual news. Connect to God Himself through learning Torah and doing mitzvahs. And if you're non-Jewish, through learning about the 7 laws of Noach and all the spiritual details within them. And through that, then you'll get your true source of news, the news from the one above, from Hashem. Because while it is true that sometimes we hear on the radio, whatever it may be, we hear from those around us what they heard on the news, that things seem somewhat stressful. That there's talks. There could be wars. There's this. There's that. There's all this and that. And it's important to note what our sages say, that yes, it's noteworthy to pay attention to what's going on in the Holy Land, and there's stuff happening in the Holy Land and the neighbors of the Holy Land as well. There's some tension, as they say. And it's clear that obviously this is the work of Hashem's hands to gain our attention, that's clear. But and obviously for much deeper reasons as well that are beyond our grasp, but everything is the work of Hashem. But by that same time, we have nothing to fear. It's very important that we never fear these situations, that whenever we hear the updates of what's going on in the world around us, when we take a little break from our Torah study or whatever, and we happen to hear something other than Torah study, like what's going on in the world, we actually can make it a part of our Torah study. How? By seeing that the same God who tells us to learn, and the same God who tells us to give charity, and to be merciful, and to be kind, that same holy God is the one who is causing all these situations in the world to happen, and He's the one who can fix them. And my rabbi always says something very, very interesting. He says, look, just like Hashem in these past few years caused something seemingly negative to happen so quickly and flip the whole world around in a seemingly negative way, so too Hashem could flip the whole world upside down in a positive way in an instant. So just like imagine, with what's been going on the past few years, how the world, as we know it, has changed drastically, how it all happened so quick in the blink of an eye. So too Hashem could bring Moshiach and turn things for the good in the blink of an eye. We know something even deeper, that actually even the seemingly negative things that we go through are from Hashem, the work of Hashem's hands. So we know that there's an ultimate good purpose, and not only is there an ultimate good purpose, but right now it's good. And this is actually what the Rebbe explains, because based off this title of the video, we see that people are thinking about wars and the coming Mashiach. Does there have to be a war for the coming Mashiach? Well, there is prophecy about there being a war before the coming Mashiach. There's many different sources, many different opinions on how exactly it's going to unfold. But I've heard the Lubavitch Rebbe say that we have passed all that needs to be done, and Mashiach is actually ready to arrive instantly. Mashiach could arrive now. All the prophecies that needed to be accomplished have been accomplished, so to speak, have been carried out. And now we are ready to greet Mashiach, meaning there does not have to be a war where people die, and then Mashiach will come. Of course, the fact that there's a prophecy about it means that it could happen, but what it means is we have a very important way to decipher prophecies, that the seemingly negative prophecies can be improved. That the negative prophecies, if based on our behavior, because we see that there's two scenarios, if I'm not mistaken, Zechariah and Ezekiel, about the final war before the days of Mashiach, where one of the prophecies states that half of Jerusalem will be conquered with a lot of atrocities, and half of Jerusalem will be conquered. The other prophecy says they will not even enter Jerusalem, and the war will go on. So of course, how could this be that there's two different prophecies? There's one where they don't conquer Jerusalem at all, and there's another one where they do conquer half of Jerusalem before we end up victorious. And the answer to that is that if there's two prophecies, a more harsh and a more sweet one, then the outcome is dependent on our behavior. If we act in a proper way, in a way which is in accordance with Hashem's sweet ways, with Hashem's kind ways, then Hashem will deal with us with kindness, and He will sweeten the judgment, and the outcome will be the positive outcome. If, God forbid, Chas v'shalom, a person doesn't do that, then there's harsher outcomes that they can endure. So we see that when that Hashem tells us, yes, there's a scary prophecy, but there's also a positive prophecy which involves no atrocities at all. And based off our behavior, we can determine that outcome. And also the Rebbe explains how the war that a person goes through in their own home, the war that one experiences with their own self and with their family in their house, with their siblings, or one's spouse, one's children, one's parents, the inner family wars that one can experience are beyond infinitely harsher than the final war. The Rebbe says this, who's quoting the Gemara. The Rebbe quotes the Gemara, and the Gemara is explaining how David HaMelech himself says this in his Psalms, because he says how the struggle between when King David's son rose up against him, Absalom, he said that was far more severe, far more painful, far more disastrous than even the wars of all the nations, meaning the final war. So we learned that we have the ability to make Mashiach come instantly without any atrocities. And while it's true, when we look at the news, we see things that sometimes point towards wars and point towards aggression and intimidating outcomes. We have to understand that Hashem is completely running the show. Us Jewish people and righteous Gentiles as well, our belief in God is so strong that we have complete confidence in God. Some people believe in Hashem, but they believe, there's other factors that have control. Hashem is real, but this and that, and maybe he doesn't really do this and that, and that is actually a form of it's a form of actually. It's almost like idol worship. It may even be idol worship to think that yes, Hashem is God, but he can't do this or that. Then that is quite severe. But us Jewish people and the righteous Gentiles, we trust in God completely. We realize that God is completely one. There's no other. There's none other than God himself. God is running the show entirely. God is in charge with no partners and no delays and no restrictions. So therefore, whatever situation we find ourselves in, exciting or not so exciting, when we connect to God in that moment, we will notice that God will perform miracles for us, because at the end of the day, he is the one who put you in that situation in the first place. So surely he can take you out of it, and not just take you out of the situation, but turn it into infinitely times better than it ever was before. So with this mindset, we can bring the Mashiach immediately, and we will not fear what we see, the news we hear, or the seemingly distressful things that, God forbid, may come our way. Because we know that from here on out, everything is going to be in a revealed good way. The Rebbe explains in a Sikha how one level, a lower, seemingly what was the higher normal level of trusting, having faith in God, is that whatever happens, even if it's painful, it's for the good. So even if this painful situation happens, it's still going to be for the good. The Rebbe takes it a step further. He says, no, we have to trust so much in God that we believe that right now it's going to be good. We're not going to be put in a situation that's going to be painful, but one day we'll see how it's good. No, right now God is going to reveal to us how right now the moment here is good, and we will feel the good. It won't be a hidden good where we'll have to wait and hope for something that's coming soon. It will be right here, right now. We'll be in the moment of good. So may Hashem reveal us the ultimate moment of good, the days of Moshiach, where there will be no more war, where nation will not rise up against nation. The nations will turn their swords into plowshares, and everyone plowshares, and all the world will know God. From the young to old, from Jewish person to righteous Gentile, everyone will know that Hashem is God, and he is the only true existence, and all else is nothing before him, is just a part of God. There's none other than God, and we are a part of God's plan. And we are so fortunate that for some reason God chose us to be a part of his ultimate plan, for us to carry out his will, for us to be soldiers of him. And when we do follow the Torah and mitzvahs, and we do the 7 laws of Noah, we are becoming soldiers of God, and we are carrying out God's will into this world, because this world is a physical place. And when we learn Torah and we do commandments, we turn this physical place into a spiritual place, and we turn the world into a vessel to be able to receive the godly light that's waiting for us. So may we merit to see it today. May Hashem bless you all. Please share this video, like, comment, and subscribe to help spread this message. This video is in honor of Clara Bas Sarah. May her soul have a complete aliyah.